Aguayo comes on for a game winner from 25. Now they make it 26. 27. He's hit a 37-yarder, missed from 40.
All right, Tallahassee area, Big Bend area football fans, we have a special guest with us today on the Extra Point. I'm Mark Adams, your host as always, and joining me today is Lou Groza Award winner Roberto Aguayo. This man needs no introductions. We all remember the amazing 2013 FSU National Championship season, just the incredible run. You were a part of an amazing football team, but special teams probably was at its peak at Florida State when you were there. You established just a school that has been historically known for, kicking errors. You ushered in kind of a new era with really just how accurate you were. A lot of people really had a chance to watch you just really while you were at Florida State and just kind of marveling and looking back on it. It really was an incredible run. Talk to me just about some of the highlights of just what that's like, just being in that environment, playing with all of those guys, and just the enjoyment you had during that season.
No, it's looking back at it now, it's pretty incredible what we did. But in the moment when we were there, we were just playing ball. People always ask me that question, like, how was that year? You were around a bunch of legends, mostly the whole team from that 2013 year was, played pro, still in the pros. But that's incredible. And now looking back at some of the, now the drop off we've had after Coach Fisher left, you can see like it's hard to do. You have to have one mindset, all the guys buying in. And really it started with the guys, with the seniors before us, the seniors in 2012 that kind of established that era from, 2009, 2010. Because I remember my true freshman year, Bjorn Warner being a leader, and I was 18 and he was 22, and I just looked up to him as a leader, as he is someone that I want to look up to and be one day. I mean, not a DN, but like a leader in that type of way. And you could tell that next year, after winning the Orange Bowl in 2012, we were primed for. We didn't really think we were going to win the national championship. We were just playing one week at a time, and that's what Coach Fisher would say. 1 week at a time. He coached us to where he knew our talent level, the limit could be. He knew where we could go, and sometimes we didn't know we could go to that level, and he would always mention that to us, and I think that was a big part of our success. And it wasn't until we beat Clemson 52-14, that's when we were like, okay, we're pretty good. We just beat the number 3 team in the country. And after that, it was just rolling, and everyone was rolling. I mean, Jameis, he was having success. I was having success. Nick O'Leary, everyone. At the end of the
list
year,
is really long.
I know. At the end of the year, we had so many guys win these awards, break all these records, but everyone was on the same page. Everyone was helping each other out. And we were fighting for each other. Like Telvin Smith would say, fight for each other, one team, one heart. Are we going to win? Will we lose? Hell no. That whole chant. And it was just kind of something we embodied, and we just rolled with it, and we won the national championship.
Yeah, I think when sometimes when you're in that moment, especially it's a rare experience to be in a locker room where you kind of can feel that winning attitude kind of take over everything, and it's really infectious. 157 field goals made. That's a mark that really most people won't ever see touched, probably in this near future that we're playing. But the game of kicking special teams itself has evolved. What are the things that you've noticed about just college football in general? We see kickoffs. We've changed where the ball is set up. We've moved some things around. How do you think the game has evolved just from a kicking standpoint in special teams?
Well, it's so different coming from high school to college. I remember being in a special teams meeting and seeing all the little details, how much focus they put, especially Coach Fisher, because Coach Fisher was a special teams high oriented type of coach. He would put the same focus on special teams as he would offense and defense. Um, and I was just like, man, like it matters a lot, especially from high school to college. High school, you can get by whatever. You only have like, I mean, there are not many talented kickers that can, kick left, kick right, pooch kick deep. But then going into college, you see how much focus and attention to detail there is. And then going from college to pro, it makes college look like, I watch these college games sometimes and I see the schemes and I see, oh my gosh, that guy should have blocked that guy. That guy missed his assignment. And it's that, I mean, that's on kickoff and punt return, kickoff return. Then you see the field goal and I always watch it. I always watch the kicker, how he runs on, how the coach talks to the special teams unit. You know what I mean? So there's different ways to go about it. Us specialists we're just a different breed. And it bothers me sometimes when coaches don't know how to read their players, and because everyone's different. Some people respond to you talking to them all the time saying, let's go, you got to make this next one, or else. And there's some guys that leave them alone. You just got to be able to understand that and read that. And right. part of why I'm doing my academy is to bring this knowledge of what I've learned from college and what I've learned from the NFL and bring it to these young guys. And not only young guys, I mean, starting out as young as 8, however young they can start kicking, molding them, right? And just giving them the knowledge they need at whatever age they're at and grow. You're not going to tell a 10-year-old a scheme of, the NFL, right? They're going to be like, whoa, I'm not even there yet. I need to learn the basics, right? Mm-hmm. So teach them along the way. So when they get to those moments, they know how to react. They know what to do. Because it's not only about kicking these days. Everyone can kick a 50-yard field goal. Oh, hey, man, I kicked a 50-yard field goal. Okay, can you do it in front of 80,000 people? Can you do it 10 times in a row? Can you do it in front of a rush? Because nowadays it's different from when you were kicking 15 years ago. Everything's on social media. Everything miss a game, you're on SportsCenter not top 10. Like, how are you going to react in situations like that? How do you adapt going from high school to college and understanding how to be a student athlete, how to go through a recruiting process to get to college? I hear many kids asking me, hey, when did you recruit it? How was your recruiting process? What should I do?
Recruiting and kicking is so much different. We see all of these rating systems, 5-star, 4-star for particular athletes. And, he's an excellent DB. He can also play wide receiver, and you can put this kid on either side of the ball on the line. But for kickers, it really is specified. And there's even a whole different process of how college coaches look for these guys.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And everyone needs kickers now. They're seeing the importance of what it is to have a good kicker, a good punter, and a good long snapper. Mm-hmm. There's some coaches that still are living in the old times where they're like, oh, I'm not going to scholarship a kicker. I'm going to have someone walk on. And then they get down to a game and they miss a kick. And it's like, well, you didn't spend a scholarship on someone that is going to make the majority of points in a season on your team, right? So you want to have a good punter, you want to have a good snapper and a good kicker, because they are that secret weapon. They are the snipers. Yeah, they only get on the field a couple of times, but you need that punter to switch the field position. You need that punter to pin them inside the 5. You need that long snapper to give you consistent snaps every time, because, what if you have a great kicker, but you don't have a great long snapper? He messes up the snap. You don't even get a chance to kick. And then at the end of the day, that's on the coach, right? So the recruiting process has changed. Universities, they need great kickers. And to me, I've always been interested in how I would ask the coaches, like, hey, like, why did you recruit me? And sometimes they're just like, well, you were ranked high and, I saw you kick some kicks and you had a big leg. Well, now it's not so much that you're taking a lot of risk in that. And that's cool. Right. And I was able to have a big leg. But to me, I can see a kicker, a young specialist, and see if really later down the road they're going to have the tangibles to be consistent over long term. Yeah, he has a big leg, but is that going to pan out and help him in college? Or does he just going to have a big leg and not be accurate? So these are the things that I want to bring the knowledge to the kids. So when they go to these universities, they're in front of these coaches, they know how to act, they know how to portray themselves, they know what they are looking for. And also be an advisor to the coaches and say, hey, this is what you got to look for. Don't just look for the big leg. You got to look for these tangibles. And I feel with what I've learned in the modern era, I'm one of the younger guys coming out, being an advisor, a coach. I've seen those things, so it helps me with that.
Yeah, I feel like I wanted to ask you, how do you build a kicker? I feel like you just explained it, taking a kid, teaching the mental toughness and being prepared. What's a unique, I would say, in that process of building a kid into a collegiate kicker, what's something that I would say is rarely touched on, maybe like a hidden, some kind of hidden stat or something, that quality, if you will, that, a young kid might need to have if he's going to find success at the collegiate level or even get a scholarship?
To me, obviously, you got to have the physical ability. You got to be able to have a sling. You got to be able to consistently make a 50-yarder, 55-yarder. And a lot of guys have that, coming from a soccer background, or, just being naturally gifted, right? But nowadays, it's the mental and emotional side of the game, how to adapt to certain situations, because it's tough. It's tough being a kicker. You only have certain amount of opportunities. You miss one, okay, well, it's like, a quarterback can throw an incompletion, can throw a pick. He's going to have 30-plus attempts a game, right? So he has an opportunity to shake that off, go on the next play, and, score a touchdown, score a big play, and move past that. We only have certain amount of opportunities, so we have to make the most of it. And like I said already, it's not about just being able to kick a ball. It's building a game plan, building a process where in the beginning of the week, where you're going to play, where the wind's blowing in your stadium, the ins and outs of that stadium, where the play clock is, all these little things you build, and this is your job. You build that knowledge. So on game day, everything is relaxed. What's going to happen already. Right. So to me, starting that at a young age and being able to teach these kids the ins and outs, by the time they get to my age, when I was in college, they're going to be light years ahead of me. And sticking to where the time is now, and different types of, special teams coaches are going to want you to hit different types of kickoffs, the pooch kickoff, the mortar kicks, the different onside kicks. A lot of kids don't know that. And especially if they learn that at a young age, they become a more versatile kicker. A punter that can learn all the Aussie kicks, all the banana style kicks, not just hit the normal end over end kick or the normal spiral.
I feel like I should be writing these down.
Yeah. All these different things to make you just a more versatile specialist, and be ready for anything that comes at you, that's thrown at you. I've written down everything from, being prepared, how much time you need to get off a kick when the time's running out. How much time you need when you're on your own hash or when you're on the opposite hash. See, some kids don't even know. They're like, oh, well, I don't even know how much time it takes for me to kick a normal kick. These are the little things that, I want to build with the younger guys, and even help these older guys that are in college and, about to go to the NFL. This is just more information for them so they can be able to use to their advantage.
Okay. Yeah. It sounds like a lot. I mean, this is really you're talking about becoming a technician, basically. The amount of hours that, not just taking reps in front of the field goals and kicking away, but really, really learning the craft. I have some particular questions, because it's such a kind of like a emergency response position where, like, at any moment during the offensive drive, some things could go wrong. You could be called on the field, like teaching that preparedness and mental readiness. I just want to ask you, what was the worst? I would say, what are the worst conditions you've ever kicked in? What was the word? And build that scenario. Tell me what happened before,
Worst
after.
conditions. Worst conditions. I'd probably say there's always kicking in a loud stadium. That Clemson stadium, every time we played Florida, it would get loud. But really, it was everywhere we went because everyone wanted to always be the team that beat us. We were so highly ranked. So being able to kick in front of crowd noise, sometimes that's hard for guys just to – I mean, the things that people say to you on the sidelines, I mean, you got to be able to mentally block that out, especially after you miss one. They're like, they say the worst of the worst. And I mean, they paid their ticket, they're coming in, they're, doing their thing, but you got to be able to mentally block that out. And that's just the surroundings. That's just the people in the stadium. Then you have to deal with, then you have to deal with weather. Then you have to deal with the field. Different stadiums they're built different, so you got to know where the wind comes through. I'd say in the pros, it was probably Chicago was a tough place to kick. Very windy. San Francisco, that's a tough place to play. Wind condition wise, the wind can change. It might feel different down here. You feel something different on the field. You look at the goalposts, the flags are blowing one way, and then you look at the flags up on the stadium at the top, they're blowing the other way. You're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to approach this? So dealing with conditions like that. I remember one time it was raining really bad. I think it was Boston College at FSU. I hit a game winner there. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I hope the closer we get, the better. And then this is where this is where like the emotional side comes in, where you got to be a unit with your long snapper and your holder. And each of you guys trust each other, because at that moment, first of all, my long snapper, it's going to be hard to snap the ball. It's wet. It's slippery. Right. Then my holder has to catch it and put it down. So you're like, I hope my holder gives him a good snap so he doesn't have to struggle and just be able to put it down. Then you have to make sure you have good grounding where you don't slip. And fans don't see this. They just see you go out and pick a ball and you make it or you miss. There's so much that goes into it that you can't just be like, oh, well, it's raining, let's just go out there. You got to practice these. You got to practice wet ball drills. I've been on teams where coaches come and they wet the ball. Yep. They take the towel away from the long snapper. They take the towel away from the holder. They wet the holder's hands. They put water on his face so it's dripping. They put water on my shoes, and you got to be able to make the kick. But it's putting guys under stress like that in stressful situations where when they come to the game, it's easy. They've already done it.
Right.
So that's the approach I want to take.
Did you just play loud crowd noises? Like, how did you train yourself? Like, did you walk around with headphones on, with just pumping amped up noises? Did you have somebody run around the corner, like try to jump out and scare you? Like, how did this go for you?
Yeah, so it actually started at a young age when I started kicking, 10 years old. My dad built a goalpost in the back. It was kind of like an H. So in the spring we played soccer, we would play in the goal, and then in fall when we'd be getting ready for football, we'd kick. And I remember me and my brother would create scenarios, like we'd be the commentators. Like, Roberto Aguayo, the team has gone down. They're in field goal range. They have we'd make different scenarios where it's 21-20. He needs to make this kick to win. And we'd play like the song, like we'd watch Florida State a lot, and we'd play the songs. Like we played the little chime where Badia missed that kick against Miami. And we were like so heartbroken from that. So when we would play that, it would bring the memories of like, oh my gosh, I can't miss this. I don't want to feel that anymore. And it just little games like that where it built that pressure situation, and then being in at practice and having pressure scenarios. And as I got older, playing that crowd noise, playing loud where you can't hear, putting any stress on you where when you came to the game, it was going to be easy because it's just me. It's just no one's touching me. No one's crowd noise. I've heard it all day. I can kick when it's quiet, when it's loud, when it's raining, when it's snowing. Yep.
So we're over here like, it's 4th and 1, I'm dropping back, I got to pay. You're over here doing it, but for kicks. Like you're lining up and creating the same scenario. So you got all these kids out here that's like, with 3 seconds left, he takes the ball, but you're lining up kicks. That's cool. I think that's very, very interesting that your dad built a goalpost.
Yes.
So and that's good to know. That means that you've been doing certain scenarios. Like, is this kind of some of the things that you want to implement at your camp? Like just scenarios for your kids just to build up that confidence?
Exactly. Because there's a lot of kids, and I've been around younger kids where I minored in psychology. So I like to see how kids approach the game. And some kids, they just go out there and just barely warm up and just start ripping it. And I'm like, what are you focusing on? What are you working on? They're like, oh no, I'm just kicking. Where it's like, buddy, you got it all wrong. You first of all, you got to take your shoes off, get out of the car, and like walk back on the field with a different mindset, a different approach. And these are a lot of the things that I want to be able to teach these kids, especially the younger, the better, because it's like anything. You start training anyone when they're young. It's like, I don't want to compare dogs to humans, but like you train a dog that's 6-8 weeks old, they're going to learn, they're going to be ready by the time. If you get a dog that's already 5 years old, it's harder to train them. You can break it, you can make it and make them better eventually. But when they start younger, you're able to mold them and be able to tell them to take away the bad habits that some people already have and build a complete athlete specialist that will, achieve a lot of things over time. And it's these small things where a lot of the kids might be like, well, that's boring. But if they don't pay attention to it, whenever they come to that situation, they're going to remember, dang, Roberto told me about that, but I thought it was boring. And then whenever it happens, whenever they're really put in a live situation, that's when they're going to realize all the stuff I've worked on was for that moment. And I'm glad that he taught me those things. So it really is building the complete specialist now. And that's what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, definitely. ESPN said that you belong on their Mount Rushmore of specialists, you and Sebastian Janikowski, highlighting that. And that's a pretty special feeling, but it's obvious that there was a ton of work that just went in to that. I just want to ask, do you kick like most people play golf? Do you just find like, hey, here's a park, there's a Gold Coast. I might just go out and just, knock a few, uprights, or do you plan it out? Like, how do you go about, approaching the game now that you're on the other side?
Well, so, I was just with the Patriots, so I had to get back in the role. I was out I really stopped training for about a year because the longer you're out, I was like, okay, well, if it doesn't happen again, I'm done. I had a career, and I didn't kick for about a year. But when I started back up and I got picked up, it was just like grabbing a golf club. It was natural, and my abilities were still there. So I'm like, I still have it. I still can do it. And I've been training ever since I got released in mid-June, still training, be staying ready. You never know when the call's coming, but I know if the call doesn't come, I know I have this academy that I can help the younger guys. And you always want to be able to put the cleats on, and if a kid wants to go, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm going to do at camp. At the end of the day, they're going to be able to compete with the coaches, the winners, because nowadays there's not many coaches that do. I don't even know if there's anyone that does that teaches, and it'll be fun for the guys, being able to compete with a Lou Groza winner, a second round draft pick. But I do, like today, me and my brother came this morning from working out, and I kind of am my brother's coach, mentor, and I give him pointers. Mostly he takes all the rep. I still kick. I still do what I do, but it's more quality now, right? I don't have to go out there, hit 30, 40 balls. No, we're going out there, we're hitting quality, 15 to 20 balls, focusing on what you got to do. And now the older you get, it's more of a maintenance, more of a, okay, as long as, I'm quality reps, doing what I got to do. The younger you are, in high school, I remember I'd hit 40, 50 balls. Was that good? Nah, maybe not. And that's what I got to tell, want to teach these kids, where you got to have a kick count. You got to know how many balls you're hitting. There's guys now in high school that are tearing their groins, tearing, quads. It's like, is no one teaching these guys like to have all that ready?
Yeah, definitely. This is an aspect of a game that I feel like a lot of people don't get to see. And it's so interesting to see how you progressed, just the wealth of knowledge that you're going to be bringing to the camp. It's going to be this coming Saturday, September the 4th at Florida High. And that will be a great event from registration begins at 8:30, and that will open up and they'll begin at 9, going to 3 p.m. One last question before we let you go. Where's your favorite place to kick?
Favorite place to kick, other than Doak, other than Tallahassee, I would say I like kicking at. It was always fun kicking at Florida because I grew up in Central Florida, so it would be fun to make the kicks against all my buddies growing up or all the Florida fans. They're like, "Dang it, you made all those kicks." Definitely fun to kick against Miami because obviously the history.
Right, the history, right.
So, but another favorite stadium I like to play in was probably NC State. That was it was just, and a lot of these places fit your eye better than others do.
Yeah, I have to imagine that sometimes some places it just feels right. I don't know if it's the air or the wind speed or how things are traveling. It just feels right.
It's true. I don't know if to me, I thought it was the how the stadium was built. It was just, I don't know. It's a beautiful stadium. I felt it feels fun when you play there. The fans are rowdy every time, but that's a fun place to play. Boston College as well, but you always have to make it that every place you kick is your favorite.
Right.
It becomes easy. It's all up here,
Man, Roberto, thank you so much for stopping by here on the Extra Point. We want to remind everybody about his kicking camp coming up again this Saturday on September the 4th. It's going to be a great time. We encourage everybody. I believe you got a promotion going on, and we want to announce that. I think it's half price with the promo code.
Yeah,
so we'll put that up. Definitely have that up on our social media accounts and where you can get that. Registration, once again, opens up at 8:30 a.m. and runs from 9 until 3. So we want to encourage everybody, if you have an opportunity to get out there, especially if you're an aspiring kicker, you want to check this out. Roberto, it's been a pleasure. We hope to have you on again soon. Definitely with you growing your kicking camp and everything. And thanks for dropping those gems.
Yes, thanks for having me. I had fun.
All right, this is Mark Adams for the Extra Point. We want to encourage everybody to check out fourquartersonline.com on social media. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter for updates about high school football in the Tallahassee Big Bend area and more.